You laugh at the joke, even though it wasn't funny. You say yes, even though you're screaming no inside. You offer help, even when you're already drowning. And the worst part? Everyone around you calls you kind, selfless, easygoing. But deep down, you're exhausted, empty, maybe even a little angry, not at them, but at yourself. Because somewhere along the line, you became the person who exists for everyone else and forgot how to exist for yourself. Why do some of us spend our entire lives trying to be liked while slowly losing the ability to even like ourselves? There's a kind of prison no one talks about. It doesn't have bars, it doesn't have guards, but it's everywhere. In every workplace, every family, every friend group. It's the silent prison of people-pleasing. And the scariest part? Most people inside it don't even realize they're locked up. Not until something inside them finally breaks. Let's take it back, because this doesn't start in adulthood. It starts in childhood. Maybe it was a parent with a temper. Maybe it was a sibling who always needed more attention. Maybe it was silence. No chaos, no anger, but no real love either. And so, you learned. You learned that love had a condition, that peace had a price, that your feelings were too loud, too messy, too inconvenient. So you silenced them. You became the good kid, the helper, the fixer, the one who smiled, even when their heart was breaking. That kid never got to just be. They had to perform, to manage emotions in the room that didn't belong to them, and they learned a dangerous lesson that being loved meant being needed. Fast forward to adulthood, and what happens? That child becomes the adult who never sets boundaries, who says yes to things that feel like no, who gives so much to others that they have nothing left for themselves, who mistakes being liked for being loved. And what makes this even more twisted? Society rewards it. You get praised for being selfless, for always showing up, for never causing a fuss. No one sees the anxiety behind your smile, or the resentment building quietly behind every favor. No one notices the moments you disappear, because they've only ever loved you for your ability to disappear. There's an ancient story from Greek mythology that hits this point hard. The story of Echo. Echo was a nymph who could only repeat the last word spoken to her. She fell in love with Narcissus, a man who could love only himself. She followed him, echoed his words, gave everything she could, and still, he didn't love her back. Eventually, Echo faded into nothing but a voice, a whisper in the forest. That's what happens to people-pleasers. You echo everyone else's needs, desires, and expectations until there's nothing left of you. And let's be clear, people-pleasing isn't about kindness. It's about fear. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of abandonment. Fear that if you stop being useful, you'll stop being lovable. But here's the truth. Any love that requires your silence isn't love. It's control. There's a quote by the philosopher Alan Watts that speaks to this. Trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth. In other words, you can't find yourself by trying to be what everyone else wants. You'll always miss. You'll always feel hollow, because you were never meant to be a mirror for others. You were meant to be a light. But breaking free from people-pleasing isn't easy. It feels like betraying the very thing that's kept you safe. The yes that kept the peace. The smile that avoided conflict. The help that made you feel needed. Letting go of those habits feels like stepping off a cliff. But maybe, just maybe, that's where you find wings. There's a man named Arjun I once met. On paper, he had it all together. Great job, loyal friend, loving partner. But he couldn't say no to anyone. He stayed late at work every day because he didn't want to disappoint his boss. He loaned money to friends he knew wouldn't pay it back. He even planned his wedding around what his parents wanted, not what he and his fiancée dreamed of. And he thought that's what love was. Sacrifice, accommodation, being good, until he hit burnout. One day, he found himself in the grocery store parking lot, frozen. Couldn't move, couldn't think. Just sat there, staring out the windshield, wondering why he felt so numb. That day, he didn't go to work. He didn't go home. He drove for hours, no destination, just silence. And in that silence, something clicked. He didn't know who he was anymore. That moment broke him, but it also saved him. Because healing doesn't begin with bravery. It begins with honesty. And honesty starts with this one question. What have I been pretending not to feel? When Arjun started answering that, everything changed. Slowly, clumsily. He started setting boundaries. Small ones. He told a friend, I can't talk right now. I'm not in the headspace. He told his boss he wouldn't stay late without notice. He told his fiancée he wanted to elope instead of hosting a wedding he didn't believe in. And the world didn't fall apart. Some people got upset. Some people called him selfish. But for the first time, he felt something stronger than approval. He felt free. There's an ancient Buddhist teaching that says, you can only lose what you cling to. People, pleasers, cling to peace, control, likability, and in doing so, they lose themselves. But when you start letting go of the image, the expectation, the fear, you don't become less. You become real. And that's what the world truly needs. Not more polite robots, but more real humans. Messy, honest, whole. So, how do you break free? First, pause. Every time you feel the urge to say yes automatically, pause. That second of silence is the crack in the wall. It's where you start to notice the truth under the impulse. Second, sit with the discomfort. Saying no won't feel good at first. You'll feel guilty, anxious, like you've done something wrong. You haven't. You're just detoxing from a lifetime of performance. Third, start small. Don't try to flip your whole life in a week. Say no to the extra project. Ask for time to think before committing. Tell someone how you really feel. Not to hurt them, but to free yourself. And last, reconnect with your wants. Ask yourself daily, what do I actually want right now? A walk? A rest? A real conversation? You'd be shocked how many people pleasers can't answer that question at first. But over time, your answer gets clearer, stronger, louder. If you're still here, if you've felt this in your bones, then this message was for you. You're not broken. You're not too sensitive. You're not selfish for wanting a life that doesn't hurt. You're just waking up. You're remembering. And maybe, for the first time in a long time, you're starting to hear your own voice again. So when you feel that old fear, the one that says, what if they stop liking me? I want you to ask this instead. What if I finally start liking myself? Because that's where real freedom begins. And if this spoke to you, if even one sentence landed in your chest like truth, wait until next time. We're going even deeper into what happens when you stop performing and start living from your core. Because this isn't about becoming someone new. It's about coming home to who you were before the world told you to hide.